Hey guys, we're going to show you how to write a contract real fast. This is just a quick overview. It's not an in-depth thing. We're going to make another video later for that. Got Dina here with me.
Hey guys.
The first thing you're going to do is log into your Form Simplicity account. Right now I'm going into Dina's active transactions. Now Dina, what do we do if we want to start a new transaction?
Okay, so you want to hit home at the top. This is one way you can do it, and there's going to be a list of different documents and contracts. And today we're going to work on just a regular residential contract. So you want to go down the list and find that and click on it. And it's going to bring up a blank form for you to fill out. And just know that Hallie and I are going to cover the basics of the things that you would fill out, but you need to go in depth with your clients, obviously, each paragraph, and make sure they understand each one of those things that's already, printed out for you.
Okay. We're going to write an offer for Bob and Sue Smith.
Okay, so we're going to do a fake offer on one of our properties.
Okay.
Which is
133 Mayfair.
Okay, so I clicked on the tax records because it's really easy to just copy and paste the address from there.
And this is also going to give you the legal description because you're going to need to do both.
Oops, I skipped this part. So majority are going to be the single family detached. If it's a mobile home, you're going to click manufactured. If it's 1 to 4, that means duplex. And then for a condo, you're going to click this last one, which you're going to need an addendum with that.
And then if you do have a condo, you're going to need to see the condominium or townhome addendum. And that's a separate addendum that you'll have to fill out as well.
So now we're going to get the legal description for this part.
So the legal description is lot, block, subdivision, then comma, city, comma, county, comma, state. Now if there's not a lot or block, say it says section, just don't put anything for lot or block.
And so while Hallie's typing this out, I see some people put a parcel number, which that does not constitute a legal description. So as she's saying, we need subdivision, lot, and block, because that's the real legal description of the property. And sometimes parcel numbers can be wrong, so just double check those. It's okay to have that in with the legal description, just don't have the address and the parcel without the lot and block and the subdivision and a county.
So do you want me to put the parcel under that?
You can.
Okay.
You can add that if you. Some people have it on there and some don't.
If you want it on there, you can put it there.
Yeah.
Alright, so once you're done with that, we're going to press the box that says purchase pursuant to new financing, because we're going to pretend we're getting a VA loan on this one. If you're going to get conventional, then you would press the conventional box, but today we're going to do VA because you have to click other options on other pages. So after you press VA, we're going to go enter the price up on line A.
In this case, it's going to be $100,000, so you type that in there.
If your clients are offering cash, you're going to press box C and enter their offer price onto that bottom line.
Yeah, so by the way, if your person's offering cash, you would check C and put the dollar amount down across from C, and you would not put it in the financing box at all. And I've seen that done accidentally. That's not something we need to do. Then page 2, I'm going to obviously click VA because it applies to this contract that we're writing. And you just want to explain that paragraph to your clients.
Now, if this was an FHA contract, then you would put the purchase price you're offering in this box. But since we're doing VA, we don't put anything there. And we're going to click this.
Yeah, as a rule of thumb, we always want to check that no matter what type of loan they're getting, just because it shows that we've covered the home inspection and how to protect themselves with getting one of those.
We will have this form on Trello, and we can put it in your Dropbox too if you want. Okay.
So agencies, this is where you explain to your clients just how they're being represented. In this case, we're gonna say that it's B where we're represented. Keller Williams is representing our client, and then Coldwell Banker is the other side. So it's listing firm represents seller and selling firm represents buyer in this case. So if you have an agent on the other side that's at Keller Williams, you're gonna check C because the listing firm and selling firm would be the same.
Alright, and then if you're going to do for sell by owner, then you're going to press D. Now, if you think you need to press E for some random reason, go ahead and call Dina or Brian to get advice on if you need to use that option or not.
And then loan and closing costs. This is where if your buyer needed any type of loan and closing costs paid for them, you would type it in. Hallie's going to type in the example of how it should be written.
What's your wording that you like?
A seller to pay buyer's closing cost and prepaid items up to $2,500. I see some people put, not to exceed, anything like that. Any verbiage like that would be doable.
And also, let me point this out. If you need to copy and paste any of this verbiage, get on your Trello board and scroll over to contract help board, and you can literally copy and paste all of this, like the what's it called, legal description right there, the wording for that,
wording for closing cost.
So
the reason we want to do a dollar amount, it's just it's vague when you put a percentage, and we don't want it to be confusing to the other agent. So
especially if the price is changing later, like it's just better for your client if you have a dollar amount.
Yeah. So let us know if you have questions on that. Earnest money, we're going to say no on this one, but if you do have a client that wants to put down earnest money, you would check A, and then there's an earnest money addendum that you would have to fill out. And we can cover that at a different time.
So deposit, we're going to say no as a rule of thumb. Don't ever do that one on a whim because your client is going to get money taken out of their account as soon as they hand over that check. Yeah. Same with earnest money, but they're not getting this one back.
So non-refundable deposit commonly is used with new construction. A lot of builders ask for non-refundable deposits. And I want to explain that because non-refundable deposit, it does come out of their account. The seller, it goes into his account. They can cash it, but if you walk away from the house, you don't get it. But if you close, it's a credit back to your buyer at closing.
Good to point out because a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So, like Dina was saying, it will go towards the purchase price at closing, so they'll owe a little less money than the whole price. Okay.
Okay. On title requirements.
Okay, guys, when we made this video, it was 2017. So now that it's 2018, we're changing our team policy, and we're always going to select option C. Basically, it states that if we can do a combo policy, we will. If not, then we won't. The only time you'd ever choose B now is if it is a cash buyer.
So,
yeah, survey. We're going to check no on this one because it's in a subdivision. And you do have to ask your clients, do they want a survey? They can pay for it, or their seller can pay for it, or they can split it. Or you can ask, you can check C and put, existing plat to have the seller provide that. And Hallie's going to use that as an example today. But so yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. But normally in a subdivision, if your clients are okay, it's usually mapped out already. But if it's like land or a house with 5 acres or something like that, you're going to want to probably get a new survey. If they don't, just ask and see if the other agent has an existing plat or the sellers do.
Okay, so is there ever really a time where we need to use this where the lender wouldn't get mad?
Yeah, I mean for FHA and VA, the government loans,
they'll make us take it off.
They're going to make you put that on a general addendum for things like that because it's not the house. But if it's conventional cash, you can put it there, and it's things that you want to convey in the house.
Okay.
And you want them to leave behind. You can put it there. You can also put it on line 30, where the blank space is later.
So let's do this with the contingencies so we can So let's say they have a house to sell. It's 123 Main Street. Okay, so we're gonna put the day it closes, which is December 29th. So if you want to do binding with escape clause, that's something that a seller will more likely accept on a contract, because basically we're saying you can give our clients 72 hours. That's the time you pick. You can put 24, 48, whatever, to let us know if you got a backup offer you want to take, and we can remove the contingency and just agree to buy your house outright, even if we don't close on our house.
Yeah, so basically, as a buyer agent, I would always check the other one, binding without escape clause, because that protects my buyer, because it's saying, hey, I'm going to take this house off the market, save it for you. You're 9 times out of 10, like Callie said, you're going to have a seller come back and counter that, because they're going to want to keep it on the market and just give your buyer first right of refusal, which means you go back to the buyer and you say, hey, I've got another offer. They don't have a contingency. We're going to give you 72 hours to drop that contingency and give you first right to buy this home. And if you cannot drop that contingency, then we're just going to sell it to these other people. So that's how that goes.
Yeah, so if you wanted to do the one where they were stuck with you, you would choose binding with it.
Yeah, so yeah, to best protect your buyer, you're going to want to check binding without escape clause. So if you have questions, please call us, because you probably will the first couple of times you do this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so home warranty, we always do the Eagle Premier program with First American.
So while Hallie's typing this out, we always want to protect our buyer and always ask for this up front, whether you think it's going to be given to you or not. You always want to ask. 9 times out of 10, they're going to say yes, and the seller's going to pay for that. Worst case scenario, they don't pay for it. And we can, as agents, maybe split it with Brian and pay for it that way. But you always want to try to get the seller to pay for it, and also your buyer could pay for it as well if they wanted to.
Right. This info is on Trello as well, just if you need a quick reminder of any of the prices and stuff. Okay. Normally you're going to press this box. That way they are able to inspect if they want to.
Yeah, so please always check B on this, because you're protecting your buyers. That just gives them a right to get an inspection. Even on a bank-owned home, if it says sold as is, you still have the right to get an inspection. Whether the bank will make the repairs or not, they have that right by checking B. There's been occasions where maybe like an investor or something would check A, but I mean most of the time.
Run-of-the-mill clients are gonna.
Yeah, most people are gonna want to be protected and get an inspection.
Yeah. So usually there's always this. We want the seller property disclosure within 3 days. If you know that they're not going to provide one, then you can click this. But we can change that later if they're not going to provide one.
So there'll be like maybe a bank-owned home will not provide one, and you already know that, so you're going to check D.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you want to check B if you want them to provide it. So if you see it attached on the MLS, and you can open that up and send it to your clients, and there's a date at the bottom where the sellers have already signed it, you want to check A, because that just prevents you from having to do extra paperwork later. So like I said, if it's attached to the MLS, you just save it to your computer, send it to your clients, and then you put the date in of when the sellers actually signed it. That's probably when they listed their home, and then you check A, and then, like I said, you don't have to do extra paperwork later. So in this case, we're going to say, hey, we saw it on the MLS, and this is when they signed it. So you're telling the listing agent that you're good to go, that your buyers have already seen the seller property disclosure. Always check B on 19, please.
Yes.
It's just showing that there's going to be a termite inspection done on that home, and then it's going to be clear of termites or not, and then the title company will call you and let you know if it's not clear, and then they will address that before your clients close. If you check A, then you're not protecting your buyers.
So for number 20, lead-based paint, look in the MLS when it was built, which is right here. If it was built prior to 1978, then you're going to have to ask the other side for the lead-based paint disclosure, and you would click B. But on most houses, they were built after that, so you can click A.
Yeah, and just to double check yourself if you want to check the county records, because there might be a typo on the MLS, and as we know, the MLS is only as good as the person that typed that in, so just to double check yourself for accuracy, you can do, like she's showing you right now, you can go to those records and make sure that the year of the house matches up with what they have in the MLS. Insurance, you just want to make sure your clients, they have 10 business days of acceptance to make sure the house can be insured. So you just want to kind of give them a heads up to get with their insurance company, give them the address, and say, hey, can you insure this home? You don't want there to be any surprises at the closing.
Okay.
And Sue's also really good about taking care of that as well.
True. So closing, unless you know their lender has told them they can close in less than 30 days, it's always better to do at least 30 days and then, move it up if that's possible. So I guess we said we would take the thing off on the 29th, so we'll do that.
Yeah. So yeah.
If you're doing like FHA or VA, you would probably want to go over 30 days, more like 45,
Yeah,
because
it's more like 45. So
it takes their appraisers a while to get out there.
Yeah, definitely get with your lender to, rule of thumb 30 days, but get with your lender, like Hallie said, if it's any other type of closing. And, maybe on cash it could be a little quicker, 2 or 3 weeks. You'd have to ask your title company. If it's Sue, you could ask Sue. And then taking possession. You want to do upon the closing, check A, unless there's some reason you need to do early occupancy or delayed. Those are not ideal because situations can come up and cause problems, but there's addendums for those if you have to do those.
So this is where you put other things that come up.
Just for example, like I said, if it's conventional or cash, you can put refrigerator to convey with the house, or patio furniture, or things like that, or just any other thing. Please don't put in this line contingent upon like financing and things like that, or inspection, because that's already written in the contract prior to line 30, so it's just being redundant to write it again.
Okay, so this one is if one of either side is a licensed agent, which we're going to pretend like nobody is.
Yeah.
Because normally that's how it is. So just press not applicable. And then expiration. If you're writing this on a Friday evening, you might want to put the expiration for like Sunday night.
Yeah, you can it's just, I usually ask the other agent. Rule of thumb, I do 24 hours. If it's a bank-owned property, you're probably going to need to give them a week, 3 to 5 days. But I just kind of fill the other agent out to see, but 24 to 48 hours.
And if you know your clients will be able to sign till 6, put your expiration at 6. That way you're not giving them only 15 hours because you wrote it in the morning and the clients aren't signing till 6.
Yeah, do a full 24 hours after your client signs.
So here we're going to put and then I like to leave this name blank and then drag the agent's name in later, but you can put it in.
And Hallie has mine and Brian's license number on Trello. Right?
Yeah, so those are...
And I believe all of our information, our phone numbers and email addresses.
You can just copy and paste it in like so. Just whatever. So I guess I'll do that.
And then I believe on all of our contracts, Hallie wants to see, or Anita, or whoever's getting this, that they want to see Curtis Realty Group, just so the other agent knows it's not a single agent selling the house, that it's actually, Curtis Realty Group is, selling the house.
And the MLS people charge $50 every time we don't do it, so
yeah,
let's remember to do that.
That's very important. Because they have to go back and make the change.
And Okay, so got all that stuff pasted in. We're just going to put Dina as both. Obviously, you would put your name and info here. And because we typed their names on separate lines in the beginning, it automatically filled them in, which is awesome. And then, yeah, you would drag a form field, I guess, in the signing thing there.
Yep, you'll do that a little bit later. We can show you that as we move through. Right now, you would just save it and hit new transaction and name it. I normally name it the house address and then just say offer. Okay, so let's type the address in right here. 133 Mayfair. Offer. That way, after you save it, you can find it pretty quickly. So you can set up a email to send to your clients.